Well, Coach, thank y'all for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Just kind of introduce these two guys and tell us why you brought them today.
Yeah, so I've got Evan Moeller and Brandon Griffith, two of our returning players from last year's team. Brandon was a kid that came off the bench for us last year and played really, really well in the area play. Really just sparked us with that first game against Helena. And then Evan Moeller, who was supposed to be a big part of what we did last year, and then he got hurt. And he's ready to go this year. He's really excited, and these are two of our leaders of our team as well. That's why they're here.
Yeah. What are y'all looking forward to the most this year?
Probably area tournament.
I'm looking forward to just getting to play with my friends again, and I'm not hurt, and I'm healthy, and I'm ready to go get it, go after it.
Yeah. What have you seen from this team so far?
I'm really excited about this team. It's a lot different than last year's team. Aiden Owens has graduated.
Yeah.
And this team, kind of like last year's team, we've only got one player that's played major minutes in Jordan Garcia. Now Brandon came off the bench last year and played, but we're kind of, I don't want to say we're starting over, but we're kind of starting over with players again this year. So we've got to build, but we've got a good group of seniors who've gotten after it. This group has really taken to what we've done in the weight room, and what we're trying to do in the gym. We've got a strength and conditioning coach, and he said, man, this is one of the best groups I've seen come through. Just come in, do the work, do what's asked. We don't have to be on them very often. This team's really determined and motivated for this upcoming season.
Yeah. Guys, what have y'all seen from this team in the summertime of, some things that you've liked and some things that are going to be strengths for this team?
I think that we have really good chemistry. We've been playing together for a long time, and offensively we're really good and working on the defensive side of things, and but I think we're a strong group together, and I think that's how we'll win a lot of games, is playing together and as one.
Yeah, going on with the chemistry, we've all been playing for a very long time, but in the summer I feel like we lacked more of big roles as a big man, but with the addition of Sean, our new guy, he's gonna help fill a lot of roles in that. Be a big part.
Yeah, we've got a transfer that came in. It's been a homeschool kid that has always lived in Chelsea. He just hasn't played. He's about 6'7", Sean Johnson. Can play inside, outside. He got enrolled right before school started, and he's made a major difference for us. Being able to do that, he's trying to learn our stuff. And I told the guys it's been a lot of fun, really, that he doesn't know what's going on, because he's kind of just free playing a little bit off of it. It's really how I like that offense that we run to go, is a lot more free play. One of the strengths about this team, as Evan said, is on the offensive end. I think collectively this is one of the best shooting teams that I've had. We've always had a good shooter or two good shooters. I think the time that these kids have put in the off season is paying off across the board. From all of our kids. I'm really excited to see what they do offensively, but as Evan said, I reminded those guys driving over here today, we got to get better on the defensive end. Right now we seem to be scoring a lot of points against each other, but we got to guard, and we will. My teams are known for that, and we'll get after that. But right now, just trying to teach offense and getting those reps collectively as a group.
Yeah. So y'all feel good about the defense is going to come along?
Yeah. With time.
Yeah. Y'all might just have a whole week where you don't shoot a basketball.
Well, I don't know that we can afford to do that, but we're definitely going to break down the defense a little bit more. We started that. We've already practiced this morning. Today was day one.
Yep.
We do a lot of 6 a.m. practices, and so we've already been in the gym and started breaking down defense, but just trying to build on those fundamentals that these kids already know coming through the program. Just excited for this group to get after it. We've got, like I said, not a lot of kids that have played, but Jordan's been hurt since the summer. He tore his meniscus in June. He's not even practicing yet. We've got a freshman in Ace Nelson who's playing football, so he's not in the gym yet. That's going to play major minutes for us. And then, you just trying to teach Sean what we do, how we do it, all those kind of things. It just makes a big difference. But these guys here, these two plus they're gym rats. I mean, we do a lot of stuff at 6:30 in the morning, and I'll get to school 6:15, 6:20, and some of them are already in the gym getting shots up. There's a football coach that gets there early, and the gym doors are open, and those kind of kids are already in the gym, and you can see the work that they've put in the off season. It's going to pay off for us.
So where's all the production going to come from on this roster?
I really think it's going to be spread out. I mean, Jordan's going to do what Jordan does for sure. I think we're expecting a big season from Jordan this year, just like last year. But then I think everyone else, I think it's going to be really tough to guard us because of the guys that can score. Both of these guys are going to be able to put up double figures. I think Truitt Jennings, who's a sophomore for us, he came off the bench last year as a freshman for spot minutes. Man, he's improved a ton in this past year. I say year, but in this short amount of time of 6 months, he can put points on the board. This group collectively has gotten more shots up in the offseason than any group I've probably had together. We've always had a few kids here or there, but this group across the board. So, I think we're going to be a tough to guard just because of how many different kids can put the ball in the basket.
Yeah. Guys, each of you, tell me something that you worked on with your game over the offseason.
I like shooting became like a big concern of mine, and like I used to, it didn't always look great, but now I can shoot it pretty well.
Yeah. Also, I think with me shooting, I used to, whenever I would shoot, like my rotation would be awful and like I'd twist my body, but I've had a trainer that's been really helping me fix that. And I feel like it's actually like it's helped a lot.
Yeah.
So is it like a knuckleball? Is that what you?
No, it's like my hand will like twist and like make it
curve.
So it'd go left.
Yeah, I think our 3-point shooting is going to be as high as it's been in a long time. I think we're going to shoot a lot of threes. Just like any team, we're going to try to get paint touches, and then that ball's going to come out. We've been stressing during workouts and stuff. It's not just the shooting; it's the pass being right on the money. It's being balanced when you go to make that pass, and then being ready to shoot the basketball. I know there's a couple kids, they're hesitant to shoot it, and I'm like, shoot it. Bradley Faulkner is another great shooter for us that, I bet 3 times this morning I was like, Bradley, shoot the basketball. Like, you're open. He's a good shooter. And so I think that's going to be a huge strength of ours is our guys being able to knock down that outside shot more consistently than we have in the past.
Yeah. Does it stress you out at all when you're playing like really important ball games that end up in the 30s and 40s?
No, I don't know that we'll have a lot of games like that this year.
Yeah.
We want to grind. That's why I was telling the guys, like, at some point in time, when you get into area games, you get in the playoffs, you have to just grind on the offensive end. You got to be able to run offense and take care of the basketball. And that's just a big part of what you do. You play to whatever your strengths are, and if we can run offense, then we're going to run offense. If we want to take quick shots, then we're going to take quick shots. I think this team you're going to see play at probably a faster pace than some of my other ones, and I've got to be able to adjust to what these guys' strengths are a little bit more. I know in the past, some of the shots that I've been yelling at guys to shoot when we've been working out, in the past I'd have been like, that's not a very good shot. Hey, that's not one that we want from you. This year I feel really confident in our shooters, and I want them taking those shots that they feel good about. I'm not going to lie, there's some times I've kind of lowered my head at some shots that have gone up, but it goes in because these guys have been putting that time in. And I think we're very capable of scoring 50, 60 points. But as I told them the other day, it doesn't matter if we score 60 if we give up 61. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to have to be able to guard on the defensive end better than we are right now.
Yeah. What do y'all kind of hope the identity of this team evolves into as the season goes?
I think it comes down to like just a bunch of like us playing together and like being mentally tough, and like if it doesn't go our way, can we pick our teammates up, pick ourselves up, and get over losing streak. Like last year we had a losing streak and we won the area tournament, and I don't want to lose, but basketball's not all about winning. There's a mental side of the game, and I think that if we can stay composed all season, then we'll be really hard to beat.
I think it's really going to come down to defense and giving up offensive rebounds. That's a very big thing, because I feel like in the past we've given up way too many offensive rebounds, second chance points, and that's led to a lot of us being down by a lot. So just handling that, I feel like, is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about, and we really talked about it this morning, I've kind of led to it, and I hadn't actually used it, but just pursuing excellence in what we do. We don't have to be perfect by any means, but we need to be pursuing excellence in every choice, every decision that we make, whether it's on the basketball floor or off the basketball floor. And if we can pursue that excellence, good things are going to happen for us.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the rest of the roster.
Yeah, so a couple other seniors we've got. BJ Nathan, who came off the bench just a little bit last year. Jack Flowers, football guy, so he hasn't quite been in the gym yet as a post player. And then Joseph Kendall, another post. Those guys, kind of like the group I had last year, they've kind of waited their turn to go. They've been behind some guys in the past, and they're ready to step up and play a big role for us on the senior side. So we've got the 5 seniors. Our juniors, we've talked about our transfer in Sean Johnson. We've got Bradley Faulkner, which I mentioned, and then Jaden Valent. another junior that played JV last year, and Mason Ritchie, who both had great summers and preseasons here. Then we talked about Truitt coming off. He came off the bench last year. He's going to be a main component of what we do. And then Ace Nelson, who's a really talented freshman, is going to play a lot of minutes for us. So that's kind of our roster. There's a couple sophomores that are pushing hard. I'm not going to lie. We with not having football kids, you always bring up a couple of those JV guys, and I'm going to throw out Jackson Gill and Jeremiah Cunningham. They've had a great preseason with us. I think they're JV kids, but man, we want to get the best 5 kids out there. And if we think that any of those kids that we name can help us win basketball games, we're going to put them on the floor. We want kids to develop. We're excited about this roster, and I'm excited to see what they can do. Last year's group proved that you don't always have to just have that continuity of playing every single day, years and years. You don't have to have varsity kids. Last year we had one varsity kid that played major minutes, and we got it done and did some things we'd never done before. This group has that same drive, and they saw what can be done. We just got to persevere. If we go through a rough patch, we just got to be patient, persevere, and know that come January and February, we're going to be ready to play basketball.
Yeah. What kind of lessons can y'all take from how last year went? Like, even like you mentioned, the tough part kind of toward the middle part to the end of the regular season, but also how you were able to flip it around.
Yeah, well, I mean, like he said, I was injured last year, and last year was really hard for me, just like overall. But I mean, I still got to see what they went through every day, and every day was not perfect, and there were days where we were really bad. But then, I mean, we got to compose. We had enough leaders on our team to stay together long enough to win the area tournament, host the area tournament, and eventually win it. And I mean, I think that's just because, I mean, Coach B's done a great job just teaching us how to persevere through things and become younger men. So.
I feel like starting off in the beginning, we were like, on the varsity, we were 2 separate groups of people. Like, you had the seniors, they were all really close to each other, and then the juniors, we were all really close to each other. But we weren't really playing as a team in the beginning because we didn't really know how to play well together. But I feel like as we kept going and, we started to be more consistent with stuff, and, we still had, we had bad days, but I feel like we worked through that. And then towards area, we finally just started to click and everything was going good.
Well, I think this senior group that we have this year has done such a good job of intermixing the underclassmen. I know that like Evan goes to the community center a lot, and he's working with a trainer. Well, Truitt, who our sophomore is, he's working with that same trainer. Evan's great about going and picking kids up and getting them in a gym somewhere, whether it be Joseph, whether it be Sean, Truitt, Jackson Gill. Like, Evan's really trying to bring guys together to get ready for this season, because we know that we're going to have to rely on some guys who we knew we were going to have to rely on them, but maybe didn't think quite as much that they were going to help, and now we know they're going to have to help a lot. And so we're trying to just prepare everyone the best we can. We know that we're going to go through the ups and downs a little bit. That's why we're trying to pursue excellence. So I think it's going to be such a big part of what we do this year. And when we don't get there, we're going to learn from that. I think if nothing else, as you look at my teams over the years, that come January, we're ready to play. And that's where our focus is. Everything we think about has to do with January and February. And that's the mindset that we have. And we know we're going to go through some ups and downs. And the downs sure as heck aren't fun, but man, when January gets here and we're competitive and we're competing and we're trying to play at our best level, I think my teams do that. These guys know, especially they've seen the last 2 years, that we're gonna be ready to go in January, regardless of what happens in November and December.
Yeah. Who's the guy that kind of lifts everybody's spirits when there's a tense moment?
Yeah, that's probably me.
That's Evan. It's no doubt. There was a day where Evan wasn't at practice, or it wasn't in our first period athletics class, and it was noticeable that he wasn't there. It was really noticeable. And Jackson Gill, who I mentioned, he's another go-getter that's just a sophomore. Like I said, he's more than likely going to play JV, but those two, neither one of them were there for whatever the reasons were, and you could tell that they weren't there. It was a different vibe in the gym, different vibe in the weight room, and so we're trying to get that across to our other guys that, hey, you got to step up if something happens, because we never know what's going to happen. Like, we were counting on Evan last year to play a big role for us, and then it didn't happen. We expected Jordan to be with us all summer. Jordan's been hurt, and that's been different, not having him in the gym day in and day out, not being in the weight room able to lift with us, because he's going to be such a big part of what we do. The expectations for him are really high, and with him not being there day in and day out, like on the floor with us while we're going through our shooting drills, like he's not cleared yet. He's going to be when November gets here, but not yet. So we're trying to adjust to that. But I'd say it's Evan, is probably our most vocal guy. He's the one that reminds us of why we're doing what we're doing when we need to be reminded.
Yep. Awesome. What else do we need to know about this team?
I think that just like at least I try to remind our team that like we're playing high school basketball and we're still kids and like to go out there and have fun. And I think that I've gotten involved with most of their personal life, so I know what's going on with them, and I try to be uplifting. And I mean, I'm hard on him. Like I yell at him, and he's my best friend. And so I mean, there's hard days, but like I mean, we're still high school kids, and we get to play. I mean, there's how many people in our school? A lot of people in our school, and
1,300 people.
yeah, 11 of us get to step out there on that floor on game nights, and I mean, I'm blessed to be able to get to do it, and I'm thankful for Coach B and Coach Davis that have given us this opportunity, and I'm ready to get after it.
Yeah, just trying to warn myself during practice that I get mad during practice when people mess up, but I mean we're just out there to have fun. We're not trying to well, some people are trying to play in college, but some people are just doing it just for fun.
I think the thing that we got to remember is this year's team is going to be a lot different than last year's team. It's a new group of kids that are going to step up. I'm excited to see which ones step up on each night. I think some of them will be really consistent. Some of them are going to be up and down. But this isn't last year's team. I've had to kind of remind myself of that. We've counted on Aiden the last 4 years. He's been such a major part of what we've done that we've got to adjust on that. And we will, because that's what happens. I got thinking last year as we got talking about the season and trying to think about, okay, who replaces who? Who replaces who? Well, the truth of it is those kids are in our program. We've been building those kids since they were 7th and 8th graders and 9th graders, and they're ready to step on the floor and do their thing and do it collectively and together. And as these guys said, we'll go through some ups and downs, but ultimately we're going to have some fun. We're going to play some basketball. We're going to enjoy the moment, and just whatever comes. And with any luck, come February or March, March would be fantastic. But in February, we're going to give whoever we match up with just everything we've got, and at the end of the day, we're going to hold our heads up high when it ends. And so just be excited for the opportunity to play, like Evan said.
Awesome.